Hi, my name is Trish. I'm part of the team here at BOSU, and I'm back with another video on our stability exercises. So we're doing 3 other dogs today, and one actually has previous injuries, and the other one also has some difficulties with his hind legs. So these are going to be great examples of how you can rehab your dog and what it looks like after they have been rehabilitated. So we have first off the one who has had past injuries is going to be a 7-year-old male. Pit Bull, very, very eager to work. He's going to be very excited to get out the facility. You're going to see he has strong muscles all around now, despite his injury in the past. We have a large breed dog who is just about a year, definitely needing to build those muscles since he is so large. It's harder for him to hold himself up. And then our dog who's had some difficulty with his hind legs in the past. He's going to be working on just building those muscles. He doesn't have any actual injuries, but we want to make sure we prevent that for the future. So let's go ahead and get started, starting off with our dog who has had injuries in the past. All right, so this is Buddy here. He has had 2 CCL injuries in the past. He cannot run, cannot jump and play, and through these exercises, he's actually been fully rehabilitated. He runs, jumps. He has very, very strong muscles in the back here. So let's go ahead and get him on. Buddy, hold on. Buddy actually loves doing these exercises. So he's one of those dogs that you have to actually use a little bit more control instead of encouragement and excitement. So we don't want him to fall and hurt himself. So we want to make sure it's controlled. We're moving pretty slowly because he likes to move fast. And so that we are also building these muscles correctly and not hurting them. Good, guys. So you can see these back leg muscles flexing here. Now our donut ball is kind of an advanced stability object. It's a little bit less stable than, say, our BOSU ball. So this is a challenge for him. But we are going to go ahead, give him a few seconds, and then start lifting up his front paws just to make sure he isn't favoring one of these legs and give both of them an opportunity to work on their own. So let's see this one first. Up. Good, buddy. Good boy. Very nice. You can see he's wagging his tail a little bit there. Let's do our other paw. You can see the weight shifting when I go to lift up the paw. So his body is preparing to hold that weight. Good, guys. Very good. And even the shoulders in the front here are working as well. I'm not sure if you can see on camera, but I can definitely see the shoulder muscles helping to stabilize him from moving on this exercise as well. But this is just the first one. So we are going to get into some exercises that are a little bit harder, but this is kind of a warm up for Buddy. You can see he's very, very eager to get on to the next exercise. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Great. Oh boy. All right, we're back for our next exercise. We're going to be using the donut ball and the wobble board. So this is one that's a little bit more challenging because both things are pretty unstable. So we're going to put his front paws on the wobble board and then the back on the donut ball. So more of the weight is going to be on the front end this time. Buddy, go. So you see I'm kind of pointing to him where I want him to go. But this is one of the exercises where you're going to want to help them out, make sure their feet are spread evenly on the wobble board, and then also help them to get the right position on the donut ball so that they're not flipping it over and they're able to keep their feet pretty centered. So if your feet are on the side, it's going to flip. Good boy. So here, definitely the shoulders are working because the front legs are a little bit lower than the back, so we have more weight there. And then also just a stabilizing aspect for the front and the back. And then the core is working to help both of these. Good, guys. Now you can see the back is very straight. He's doing a pretty good job at keeping his head straight forward. But I do actually want to back him up just a little bit because I can see he's kind of falling off the edge here. He's holding this actually pretty steady, which tells me that it's not too hard for him. His legs aren't shaking. Realize I can't see he's leaning to one side because he's looking that way. So we're just going to have him hold this for a few seconds. No challenges on this one, since this one is challenging in and of itself. And I want him to hold this all on his own before we move on. So I'm gonna go ahead and adjust what we need to. Now, of course, if you're trying, your dog still can't hold it, you might have gone a little bit too hard, too fast. Good, Buzz. You can see he's doing here on his own. His back end is swaying, so that means his muscles are both working to stabilize him. Good. Nice, great. Good boy. All right, we're gonna get into our next one. That was a really great job for Buzz on that one. Okay, we're back with Buddy for his last exercise. We're gonna be using the wobble board and the peanut ball. So I'm gonna actually turn him around this time so you guys can really see those back legs working and how the muscles are stabilizing on that wobble board. So what I'm gonna do is kind of back him up here and go straight up. Again, you might have to adjust him a little bit. You can see he's trying to go a little bit too far. And this is kind of what happens when you have dogs that are a little bit overzealous and they want to do as much as possible, which is awesome. We want to make sure we're getting him in the right position. Good boy. So you can see this is turning just a little bit, so I'm going to try to even out those legs a little bit better. All right, good, nice. You can see he's moving his feet on his own, and that's going to happen because they want to try to find their footing so that they can balance. Good, guys. You got it, buddy. Now the peanut ball isn't that stable as well. So this is another one that's pretty challenging because his whole body is really having to work since he's not having one piece that's solid. Good, you can see a little bit of moving here. That's exactly what we want. His legs are working interchangeably to keep that thing balanced and not let it fall over to its side. Good boy, guys. You're doing a great job. Yeah. Okay, he's doing a pretty good job keeping his head straight ahead. You can see he's moving his feet now, so we might have to help him out. One more time here. We're just going to have him hold it for just a few more seconds. And then we are going to let him get up. So no extra challenges on this one. Right there, guys. Good. Now you can see he's struggling a little bit to keep his feet in one place. And this might just be because he doesn't feel super stable, super balanced. So you want to make sure you help them know where to put their feet and also to guide them with your hands. So you can see I'm keeping my hands on his sides to help him kind of stay up a little bit and find that balance. No, I see. All right, we're just going to let him hold this for a few more seconds here. Good, and then we're going to go ahead and release him. We're going to move on to our next outfit. Good job, guys. Good job. All right, we have Victor here. Victor is the one who's just had some weaknesses in those back legs, so we want to build those muscles and maintain them as well. Now, Victor isn't as much of a fan of this ability as Buddy is, so we're using a combination of some leash pressure as well as some food as well to keep him a little bit more motivated. But we're going to start off pretty simple, a nice little warm-up exercise. I love doing the exercise well with the BOSU. It's not too challenging, but it does get those muscles warmed up and definitely focuses on the back legs. So let's go ahead and get him up. Up. So you can see already a little bit of resisting here. So we have a slip leash on, so we're using leash pressure, and I have food up here as well. So I'm giving him the cue, which is going to be up, then the leash pressure, and then I'm going to have some food to assist with me as well. Up. Good. So as soon as he gets in the position I want, that's when I'm releasing the pressure on the leash and also giving that food as well, just as a little bit of extra encouragement for him. Because we do want him to enjoy it. We don't want more resistance next time. We want him to like it a little bit more each time. Good job right there. So to start off, we're just going to have him hold this for a few seconds. Drop it. He's good. Good. Just to warm up those back legs, and then we're going to move something into something that's a little bit more challenging for him. Oh boy. You can see even when he first stepped on, his feet were slipping off a little bit. So that's what we want to warm up those legs. So we're not having him do the splits and possibly hurt himself. Good boy. Good job, Victor. Very nice. Good. All right, just a few more seconds. You can see I'm feeding here and I'm feeding straight ahead to keep that spine nice and straight. Oh, a little bit of slipping off. Just welcome back on. You can. I know. Come. Up. There we go. So now we're back in position. He's having a little bit of trouble. We're going to give just a few seconds and we're going to release. Good job. Great. There we go. Very nice. Let's move on to our next exercise. Okay, the next exercise with Victor is going to be a combination of our peanut ball and the exercise ball. You can see I have this step here. This is just to hold the other pieces in place, but it also helps with him stepping up onto those as well. Okay. Up. Good. One more leg. There we go. So again, I just use leash pressure. That's how we didn't need any food. Now that he's kind of worked into it a little bit more, and he's a little bit more excited to work with me now. Good boy. So we're focusing on the back legs and these hip muscles. So this is why, again, we're in this position with the back legs lower than the front. And we have our little bit more challenging stabilizing object here where the BOSU ball was. So the peanut ball is the next level up from the BOSU ball, a little bit less stable, takes a little bit more muscle to keep him where he's at. Good boy, he's doing a really good job holding still. We're gonna keep his head straight ahead. He's looking a little bit to the left right now. Good job, Victor. We're gonna go ahead and feed a little bit. Straight ahead. Good. Now we're gonna give him a little bit of a challenge. So I'm gonna lift up those front paws one at a time, just to make sure we have both these legs working evenly so they both get a chance to hold him up. All right. I can see he's already leaning, so I'm gonna put my hand on the opposite side. Oh. Good. Just to help him stabilize. Now I'm gonna take my hand off, give him the opportunity to do it all on his own. Good boy. Now if you're working up to it with your dog, and they're not quite there yet where you can take your hands off, that's fine. I would keep it there as a guide, try to take it off for a second or so, and then put it back on just to kind of show them what it feels like to hold and stabilize yourself. Let's do the other paw. Good. Good job, Victor. He's doing a really great job here. Good. You definitely feel those muscles. Good job, Victor. All right, we're gonna move on to our next exercise and go ahead and get him off. Great. Good boy. Last exercise for Victor today, we're keeping it pretty simple with him focusing on the back legs. So we're just moving it up one tier from the peanut ball, which is gonna be the donut ball. So the next challenging thing. And again, we have the step here, just kind of hold everything in place, and we're gonna pair it with our exercise ball. And the reason why I like using the exercise ball a lot with the other items, especially for hind legs, is because of the height. So it helps get that angle that we need to put more weight on the back legs. Victor. Up. Good, perfect. So that was very nice. Climbing up there, very stable. I like that he didn't really run up or cause this thing to fall over. The donut ball can kind of wobble a lot. It's one of our more challenging ones. So that was really nice there. Good right there. You can see when I'm giving food, it's making it a little bit less stable. So you want to be careful depending on your dog's food drive. Sometimes it can be more of a distraction. Sometimes it can be an encouragement. So you want to find that balance. Good boy. Good. And if your dog feeds off a lot of just encouragement, it's really good if you can just use that as well. Good boy, Victor. I can see that he's leaning a little bit more to this side. So again, if you want to have a challenge and make sure your dog's not favoring a leg, especially if you know there's one that might be a little bit weaker than the other, you can go ahead and lift those legs, even if it's for a second, and even if you assist them a little bit as well. So we're gonna do that here. So this is really challenging for him already. So I'm gonna put my hand under his belly and just lift one leg, put my foot on this donut ball just in case, because it does like to flip over very easily. Good. So now we're giving that other leg, back leg, a chance to really hold that weight and work. So that was really good. He felt very stable there. This way. Good. And I'm really not doing much with my hand under the belly at all. It's just for safety to make sure he doesn't fall over. Good. Very nice. So the fact that he's able to hold one side with the other lifted up on the back legs where a majority of the weight is really, really good. So it's a pretty challenging exercise, something you definitely want to work up to, but really good for him, especially with having those weak muscles in the past. And that he's able to do that definitely shows us that he's really grown with his back leg and hip muscles. Good job. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a treat, and we're going to free him off and move to our next up. Good job, okay? This is Dave, and as you can see, Dave is a pretty extra large dog, and you can see he's wanting to do this really on his own. Now, it's pretty common for extra large dogs to have weak back legs because they have so much weight to hold. So we want to make every part of Dave strong today. So we're going to start with back legs, but we're going to do front as well, and then working core. So this is a really good example of how you can introduce your dog to this stability. So a really easy exercise, we have our nice stable stool here, and then our exercise ball. So it's not going to be anything that's too challenging. And we're going to use this to warm up Dave. You can see he was already getting to it in the beginning. Good boy. Good job. So we're having a little bit of stabilizing in the front, but the back is nice and solid. The only challenge here is that more of his weight is on the back end. Good boy. Getting a little bit to start out. Now, in the past, Dave wasn't always a fan of our stability. It could be because he did struggle a little bit. So that's where incorporating food for him is going to benefit, just so he makes a little bit more of that positive association. Whereas if he struggled in the past, that may have caused him to be a little bit more afraid the next time. Good boy. Good job. Good. Since he's doing so good, I'm going to do a little bit of a challenge here on our warm-up. I'm going to pick up one of these back legs. Again, having my arm under the belly to help stabilize if needed. Good. Once I feel he's pretty stable, I'm going to remove my hand from under his belly to give him that opportunity to do it on his own. Good. Next leg. So this one definitely is holding a lot more weight. And the way I can tell that is it's a lot harder to pick up. So he's definitely using this one a little bit more. And I'm having to use my hand a little bit more to help balance him under the belly as well. So definitely something to keep in mind. Make sure we focus on that left back leg there. All right, great. Let's go ahead and get into something a little bit more challenging for you. Okay, now we're going to do some stabilizing on the front end of Dave. And this is another good example of some easy ones you can use to introduce your dog to the stability. So these ones really aren't too challenging, but they do challenge just a little bit, and you can focus on either the front or the back with these two examples. So we're going to go ahead and get them front paws on the BOSU. Up. Good. This is going to take a little bit of maneuvering of Dave, and he is a big boy, so we're going to pick up the back end, put him on the stool here. We want to make sure these front paws are in line. Good. He did that pretty well on his own. And same with the back paws in line as well, to make sure all that weight is even. Good job, Dave. Stay. And especially with a position like this, standing in front of them can help just keep that gaze straight ahead. You can see he really wants to sit here. That's letting me know it is a little bit challenging for him. You can hear I made that sound, and he stood back up. So that's another one of those cues that we use for negative reinforcement to let him know we do not want him to sit right now. Good. Good job, Dave. He's doing really good with this. He's a little bit crooked, so I'm going to go ahead and slide him over. You always want to be watching the position and making sure it is exactly how you want it to focus on the muscles that you want. Good. Very nice. So this is mostly for the front legs, but since I noticed him favoring one of his back legs, we're going to go ahead and pick those up again to help with that and make sure both are getting an opportunity to work. Good job, Dave. I'm using my arm a little bit to help him. There we go. All right, next one. That one wasn't too bad. This one definitely holding a little bit more weight. Good job, Dave. You can see a little bit unbalanced here, so I'm helping him on the other side. Good boy. All right, we'll go ahead and put that leg back down. This is a really basic exercise. A little bit of everything here, but mostly the front shoulders, a little bit of the core, stabilizing on the BOSU, and then if you're lifting the back legs, you are working those as well. So great job on this one. Let's move to the next one. Last exercise for today, we're going to make it a little bit more challenging with our peanut-shaped ball. There with our exercise ball, we have the BOSU here just to hold it all in place. And again, now we're focusing on the back legs, those hind muscles, those hip muscles, to help with that weakness that we see in a lot of extra large breed dogs. So let's go ahead and get him up. Up. Good. There we go. So our peanut ball, as I've said, is kind of a step up, challenging-wise from our BOSU ball, but not quite as challenging as our donut ball. So you can see there's a little bit more instability here with Dave. I can see some shaking in the legs. I can see the peanut ball moving a little bit. So definitely some signs that's a little bit more challenging for him. But this is a good type of challenge, especially since he's been warmed up for this now. We know that he's ready for it and that he's not falling off as well. It's a really good sign. Good job. And then so I'm gonna go ahead and feed to kind of keep that head straight. Now I can see he has a lot of fur, but there's a little bit of a curve here. This could just be because his front and back feet are a little bit too close together. So we want to make sure we're keeping that in mind as well. Move his paws up a little bit. Good, Dave. But he's doing very nice stabilizing himself. He's kind of leaning side to side, using each leg to hold himself in the middle. Good. And since this is really challenging, we're not going to add a challenge of lifting up the legs this time. But it definitely looks like he is favoring one side over the other. So something you can do instead of lifting up the legs if you think it might be too challenging is just giving a little push on the hips on one side and then pushing a little bit on the other. Or if you see just one side is working, you can push just in that opposite direction to get that other one to work. Good. And this wobbling is also going to activate those muscles even more because they have to work even more to stabilize him. So I can see he's leaning a lot towards this side of him. So what I'm doing is pushing him this way, letting it go, pushing him again, letting it go. So letting this other leg feel some weight and then letting it go back and having this leg stabilize him again. So definitely something we're going to keep in mind with Dave is a little bit of favoring in the back. So we want to make sure we focus on these challenges and making sure his weight is even. That's really going to help with building those even muscles. Good job. All right, he's been doing pretty long hold here, so we're going to go ahead and release him. Free. Good job. And you can hear for all of our dogs, I'm using that word free, and that is our release command. So something that just lets them know if they're finished with that position, they can get off. A lot of them associate that word with fun as well, so a lot of times we say free and let them go run outside. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can check out Happy Go Lucky on Instagram and see some of the training things we do here and all the fun we do with our pack walks. And as I mentioned in the last video, soon we will have a Skool community for accessibility if anyone is interested in joining, if they want to see the progress of other people's dogs, see what people are doing with their dogs, and also share your accomplishments with your dog as well. Hope you guys enjoyed these exercises and our 3 dogs of the day today. They all did a really great job. And as you can see, they all are at different stages in how we can work on to make them a little bit stronger.